like so mentally speaking, how were you able to just go out there and perform every day? Cause for me, bro, I know it took a lot on me, just like me being away from home, and I just had to
Yep.
find motivation to get out there because, like you said, we were playing on tile. Like literally, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go in your kitchen and look at the
Yeah.
tile floor. Like that's literally what we practice on. So
Yeah. Falling on that every day. Imagine that.
so mentally, how much of a toll did it take on you mentally, and how were you able to get through that?
It definitely, they always say like practice as you would play, but like when it came to practices, like I knew that we as a team could go into games, not practicing as hard because we knew of the conditions that we like. I didn't want to go dive for a loose ball on a concrete floor. Like if we had a
Mm-hmm.
game the next day, like there's no chance that I'm doing that. So like I just knew that my guys got me. So like when we went into games, I'm just like, all right, we know what we need to do, and we're just gonna do the best we can to do it. And so that just kind of kept driving me like, all right, like we're actually on a hardwood floor now. I guess that would be my motivation, to be honest with you, is like we were on a real hoops, real courts every time there was a game. So, that just wanted me to push myself and go get it.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast, your source for living a healthier lifestyle and developing a better mind, body, and soul. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful fitness gurus, athletes, and individuals who are passionate about enhancing all aspects of life, we provide you with the tools to help you take your lifestyle to another level. And now your host, Quinn Mitchell.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. This is your host, Quinn Mitchell. Today I have a very special guest, my former teammate, Dustin Simpson Bragg. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So for people not familiar with you, would you mind giving a brief introduction about yourself?
All right. So I'm from Fairfield, Maine. I met Quinn my junior year of college at UMA. I played at Linden State my freshman year, and then the last 3 I played at UMA. And yeah.
So for people that don't know, I swear to you, Dustin was probably one of the best scorers I've seen. So especially with his athleticism and for being his size, bro. You probably one of the best people I've seen playing basketball, even in our whole league. To be honest with you.
Appreciate that.
So when did you first fall in love with the game?
My mom said, "Oh, there's a picture that I have that my mom has," and I think I was like 4 years old, bro, when I had a basketball. Like I would just any type of ball, really. Like that's how it started out: baseball, football, basketball. I played all the sports growing up, but
Mm-hmm.
basketball was the one that I was always like, I could do something with this too. So yeah, it was probably about like 4 or 5 years old that I started like getting into it and stuff like that.
Where. So when you went to college and everything, what were some of the challenges that you faced during your college career? Was it like trying to maintain, like was it time management or what was it for you?
Well, so I'm young. So like when I went to Vermont for the year, it was my first time like leaving home, everything like that. So, I was going to live in dorms out of state without my family. I didn't know anybody. And I wasn't even recruited to go play there. Like I just walked on. So that was another thing too. I was like, am I even going to make the team? Like blah, blah, blah. And this and that. So, I ended up getting on the team, but yeah, it was definitely time management because like, that's kind of your first step where like, you're responsible for your own stuff. Like your parents aren't there to be like, okay, go do this and that and that. It's all about, cause like, that's how you see kids not playing semesters because, they don't end up going to classes and then they just think that it's all hoop. And, so yeah, time management is probably the biggest one that was tough.
Got you. Now, also when it came to putting in work, like say when the coaches wasn't around, what really drove you to go or motivated you to go put in that extra work when nobody else was watching?
It was honestly like again, when I was at Linden, like I was a walk-on, so I wasn't getting much PT. So every time like in practice, we might, cook like some of the starters here and there, the bench group, and knowing that we could play with the competition that we were facing, like I just was like, okay, like now I just want to keep going up to the next level. Like I know that I can do it. So that was probably the main thing, like just being able to get that playing time to prove that, I'm worth it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about your year at UMA because when I went, that was your second year there, but right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember me and Chevy was sitting in the crowd. I think it was during the SM tournament, like near the playoffs, and we was like, bro,
Hmm.
we need a I believe I forget who you guys are playing. It was somebody, but you were out there
Bro, I
cooking.
think it was SM because we played them in the playoffs my first year there, my sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep,
we ended up
that's
playing
it.
them. They were the 8, or we were the 8. They were the 1. We got
Mm-hmm.
cooked, but yeah, no, I remember something that happened. It was like I needed 17 points, I think, to like beat the single season scoring record, and I didn't really know it at the time. And then I ended up getting like 43 that game, but we
Yeah,
got
he was cooking that
cooked.
game, bro.
We got cooked that game though, but
Yeah.
I remember that because I remember seeing you guys, and then you guys had hit me up after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
that's when I started to
but
get to know
talking
you.
about UMA though, so what were some of the challenges when it came to UMA? Because as me and you know, people may not know what we actually went through. But we could just start off at the beginning. So what would you say was like the biggest challenges that we faced playing there?
Bro, well, the first thing I would have to say, the biggest thing is not having a trainer around. Like, so she was there on Mondays, 11 to noon, and that was it for the week. So like if we wanted to see her after that, we would have to go to the local high school and find her while she was at their athletic department, and like between classes and stuff, like we don't have to we don't have time to do that. So that was huge. And now 3 years later, my body is definitely telling me that I needed a trainer during that time. And then the second thing was our practice floor. Like we didn't have a gym that we could we didn't practice in the gym that we played in. So we went down, it was a local armory like that, Marines and like Army National Guard go to. And it was a concrete floor, like tile floor, bro. And we practiced on that every single day. And like, I remember there was one week, my senior year, it was like the second or third week of the season. And me and like 3 other guys were sitting out, and it had been guys that have been there for 2+ years, and our bodies are just like, no, like we couldn't do it. Our knees were junk, dude, from jumping on the tile floor all the time. The hoops were like, they weren't even in the wall. They were just like these rolly hoops that you could have. And it was pretty bad. But I mean, you got to make do with what you got, I guess. And we made it work for what we had. So,
yeah. So what would you say, so mentally speaking, how were you able just to go out there and perform every day? Because for me, bro, I know it took a lot on me, just like me being away from home. And I just had to find motivation to get out there because, like you said, we were playing on tile. Like literally, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go in your kitchen and look at the tile floor. Like that's literally what we practice on. So
falling on that every day. Imagine that.
So mentally, how much of a toll did it take on you mentally, and how were you able to get through that?
It definitely. They always say like practice as you would play, but like when it came to practices, like I knew that we as a team could go into games, not practicing as hard because we knew of the conditions that like I didn't want to go dive for a loose ball on a concrete floor. Like if we had a game the next day, like there's no chance that I'm doing that. So like I just knew that my guys got me. So like when we went into games, I'm just like, all right, we know what we need to do, and we're just gonna do the best we can to do it. And so that just kind of kept driving me like, all right, like we're actually on a hardwood floor now. I guess that would be my motivation, to be honest with you, is like we were on a real hoops, real courts every time there was a game. So, that just wanted me to push myself and go get it.
Got you. Now, being a leader, bro, what would you say was the most hardest thing for you as being a leader? Because playing at UMA, you got, I mean, talent-wise, we had pieces. We always had pieces. But if you think about my situation, for example, there was probably like the first 6-7 games, bro. I literally sat the bench. Like people don't know. Like I literally sat the bench.
No, you played like half the game.
It wasn't until Jordan got hurt, like I literally exploded out of nowhere. People were like, oh, you could do this the whole time. But people didn't really understand. Like I was preparing for this, but it's just you.
Right.
Well, as you being a leader, how were you able just to relate to everybody? Because you used to literally just talk to us and say, oh, bro, I know what you're going through. Like it's like you should literally sit down with me and share, like, bro, I know what y'all going through. Because like you said, it wasn't always the coach. The coach didn't really understand what he had. But with you as a leader, how were you able to do it, bro? To relate to everybody and keep everybody on one page.
I'm just like some guy that like likes to bring everybody together, like, because there would be times during that season, especially where, we would go at each other as any team would, but like, sometimes we just weren't gelling together. And, I, as like the leader, like you said, the guy, like I had to bring everybody together. I wanted to make sure, like, I'll talk to you guys together, but then I also want to hear what you guys are going through, like individually. Like I want to hear it just from you with nobody else around. So I was really just trying to bring the team together because, like you said, we had pieces, and I knew what we could have been, and because we had a nice starting 7 that we had, and it just never gelled. But yeah, always like just trying to make sure everybody's on the same page so that we can, give max effort on the court every game. So,
So also I want to ask you as well, when it comes to basketball, a lot of people talk about the killer mentality. I know that's something you had because we would just have to push you there, Dustin. Like we would have to be like, all right, Dustin, stop playing. And you would just have to get
right,
into that mode. So
right.
so talking about that mindset, what is it that brought you to get to that mindset? Like, did you develop that over the years, or is it something that came out later in your career?
Yeah, once it definitely started like my first year at UMA, because when I was at Linden, like I said, I was a walk-on, so I wasn't getting much PT. But when I did get in games, like we played against UNH the first game of the season, a D1 team, when I was at Linden, and I ended up being like the top scorer in the game, and obviously we got killed that game. But like, I was like, okay, like I can do this. And then it kind of just, when I went to UMA, I will thank UMA. Like UMA did allow me to be the player that I knew I could have been. So like when it came down to it, I'm like, all right, like I just gotta go. Like you look up at the score, like we need a bucket, we need some momentum, like something. So like sometimes I would try to get a quick steal and a dunk, just to give us some momentum. But yeah, it was really just like knowing that, like you said, I was a leader, so I gotta, lead by example, and just hopefully my guys would follow too.
See, that's like I said, Dustin. Like, it's crazy that you think about it now. We think about it after the fact because during that whole season, it was something that I feel like I took for granted just because of the talent that we had around us. And like I said, so I have another question for when somebody's going through it and say they're not having a season that they thought they were going to have. What is some advice that you would give a player that their coach doesn't see their potential, let's say?
Honestly, it's just like keep proving yourself day in and day out, and make it so that they literally can't deny the fact that, okay, this guy should be out there. Like, and even with that, like some people do that, and there were some times where people would do that, and they still wouldn't get the credit that they deserved, and but that's what I tell just keep pushing. Try not to mope about it, and it sucks. Like I understand because I've been there and stuff like that, but really it's just keep working, keep pushing yourself, and eventually like it'll pay off. So.
Got you. Now, is there any advice that you would give to a kid that's wanting to play at a high level that their specific coach would not tell them?
Just work your ass off, dude. Like, because that is something I took for granted too. Was I definitely could have worked a little bit harder for sure. Like in the off seasons and stuff. Like I did do what I had to do, but if you really want to reach your peak, like just in the gym every day, like all day, every day, as much as you can, work on your craft, because there's always something you can get better at. Like you're never too good at something. So, and then be all around, like be an all around player that can facilitate, can shoot, can score, play defense. Just make sure you're like the full package, so you have every reason to be in the game.
Got you. Now, I had Trey on me. You remember Trey from You Made Machias, Big Trigger Trey?
Yep.
So I had him on the previous podcast, and he had asked me this question. This is what I wanted to ask you. What do you think would be like the top 5 players that played in our league throughout your whole years when you were there?
Damn, I would probably go Dante Ramos, one of them, in no order. Trey. Thurman from NHTI. I can't remember his first name.
Oh, yep.
You know who I'm talking about. There's got to be someone from SM. Silvestri wasn't bad. He was just tough. I would probably go for the fourth one. What's his name? The 6'4" kid that I yammed on. The 6'6" Ryan. I can't think of his name. SM? Yeah. Oh, Cloutier.
Yep. Yep.
Him, and then I guess I'll throw myself in there. I don't know. I guess I'll throw myself in there.
No, definitely. But what I told Trey is a lot of people overlook is remember the kid with the mohawk from SM. He played like Tim Duncan.
Yes, bro. Oh, John Morgan.
Yes,
bro. Because the one that transferred to Thomas, bro, he was nice. His inside game, dude, his mid range, like it was like Sean Livingston, bro. Like
it was.
It's automatic. Like he would not miss from anywhere inside like 15 feet. I'm like, what the hell?
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you too when it comes to scoring. What made scoring so easy for you? Well, because it'll be times in the game, it'll be like it just came naturally. So what was your secret that you would say?
Honestly, a lot of people told me that the best part of my game was my slashing and finishing like around the hoop, because I knew with my first step, I had a really quick first step,
Mm-hmm.
for out of most people. So I knew I could get by almost anybody. So at that point, as soon as I'm ripping the ball down low and I have my left foot, I'm a lefty in case you guys didn't know. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I rip my left foot through and I just take those 2 steps and I'm already at the hoop. And then it's just about absorbing contact or dishing it to your big man that's on the post. So, and then sometimes like, especially my first year at UMA, people didn't really know who I was. So like they would just step back on the three and I'm like, that's stupid. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what. So I would just like another practice shot. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was definitely probably my slashing and my athleticism too, like knowing
Yeah.
that I could get up with almost anybody.
Yeah,
So
another thing I don't think you even realized was your pull up jumper, bro. Like you had a pull up that you're 6'4", 6'5", and
yeah,
you probably like one of the most athletic white boys I've ever seen. So when you pull up for
yes,
when you pull up for a jump shot, it's like you're literally shooting over everybody. And a lot of people
right.
they really didn't understand like how you could just get to a bucket so quick.
Yeah, because like a lot of people probably the first, I would say it like the first 1 or 2 years of college ball, like it was just driving and threes, and then
Mm-hmm.
once I did hit a little growth spurt in like my second year, like I grew like 1 more inch, and that put me up to about like 6'3", 6'4", and then I stopped at like 6'4", and yeah, once I got there, I realized people just think I'm gonna drive to the hoop, so why not just stop, pull up, and I know I'm gonna go over the guy, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's when I realized I was like, all right.
So one last question I want to ask you is: do you think being at UMA, when we love Coach Ford, even though Coach Ford, we had our ups and downs, like he was always been real. Even when when I went to Umpy and played you guys, he's always been real. Is there a
Thanks.
specific lesson that he taught you, that you would like to share with the audience that you had learned while being at UMA?
One thing that he always preached was, I won't lie, and because we forget about it when like we're in college and stuff, because everything's so competitive and like all you're doing is trying to win. Which of
Mm-hmm.
course, like it's college, you want to make the most of your 4 years. But I do remember every game he would say, just have fun, like just
Mm-hmm.
enjoy yourself, like enjoy the game, and that's what like really in the back of your head like sticks out. You're like, yeah, I'm just out here like hooping, dude. Like win or lose, like yeah, it sucks to lose. Like you want to win all the time, but some of the seasons that we had, it was tough. So you kind of just had to learn to fall back in love with the game and just
Yeah.
realize that you're lucky to be able to just be playing this game that we grew up playing. So
Mm-hmm.
that was
So
the biggest thing he taught.
it's funny because I also wanted you to mention as well. A lot of people don't realize that if you look at our records, we never did so well. But the crazy thing is, Dustin, what you talked about earlier, like we went into every game blind. Like how when you said you were at London, you did scouting reports. Could you talk about what would be our process of going into games?
Right. So like it was, I don't know, man. Sometimes we get there like hella late, even like, okay, for one, our coach drove us to our games on the bus. So that's one thing. Two, like MapQuest would take him somewhere. He had no idea where he was going sometimes. So we'd show up, like one time I remember we showed up to NHDI like 40 minutes before the game was supposed to legit start. And like we walked in, it said 40 minutes and it was like counting down. I was like, we got to be out there in 20. But yeah, bro, it's just like, we didn't, when, especially that game, we would go in there and he would just say, okay, you guys know some of the players because like a social media and stuff. And we're just like, bro, what? Like, where do we have a scouting report? He's like, well, this guy can shoot and this and that. And we were not prepared. Like we didn't have the best of, upbringings and of like, stuff like that. So it was, I can't
Bro,
even.
I'll be to cut you off, but is it that the time where we played CM in our championship game, and weren't we running late to the game because we were rushed to the locker room. I remember we were rushed to the locker room. It was our last game that I played at UMA.
Yes, bro, because it was that playoff game.
Yep. And then everybody was like, all right, hurry up and change. We was like, yo, what's going on? And then we was like, so what's the plan? He was just like, Yeah,
go hoop.
Out there, hoop. I was like, what?
And the crazy thing was we lost by 3 that game. Like, that's it. We played a good ass game.
Bro, that's crazy. If people really don't understand. Like, we had no scouting report. Like, how everybody does the video. If you listen to this, if you go to like a D3, D2, D1 school, your coach probably has all the players lined up. You guys are watching video, bro. We had none of that. Literally, none.
Bro, we did film like once a month if we're lucky. Like,
bro, I actually don't remember. I think honestly the only film we did is when you came over to our apartment that time. And we watched
it on one of our laptops, and because that's what. And then after you guys left my senior year, like me, Izzy, and Noah started doing that. Like we just started hanging out with each other and watching the games because we're like, we're not gonna get it anywhere else. So, and so that was pretty much what we did. We just watched it on our own, and we had to be, which also made us be more responsible basketball players, I guess. Watching film, but in the end, it is nice to have film. So,
and the last basketball story I want to talk about, bro. I know you remember that little ass court we used to play on. We used to play pickup on. The rim was like 7 feet.
Bucher, bro. That's where I was really throwing down my windmills. I was getting busy.
People don't understand, bro. That court size is probably like the size of some of you guys' hallways.
60 feet. It was probably like 60 feet end to end, hoop to hoop. And we would legit have practices in there. Like,
bro, am I lying? Was the hoop not like 8.5 feet, 9 feet?
It was at least like 9 probably, like 9.5. And we would like practice on that when we couldn't get into the armory that we used to practice on, our tile floor. We were thankful that it was wood floor though. At least we had that.
Well, it's crazy, but I appreciate you coming on the show, chopping it up with me, Dustin. Like I said, a lot of people like they may be going through like different situations during their careers, but I'm glad that you gave some advice that they could definitely apply to their life. So if anybody has any questions for you, would you mind giving them your contact information?
What do you want? My phone number,
not like your IG or your email.
Oh, you could go follow me on Instagram, dsimp15. Twitter, same thing. Twitter's Dustin Simp 23. So yeah, get at me on there if you have any questions. I'm more than welcome to help out, and I appreciate Q having me on this podcast for sure.
Yes, sir. And then the last question I want to ask you is, what's something that you're most grateful for?
Just being healthy, man. Just realizing that through those 3 years at UMA, my body hurts a little bit, but I'm healthy. Trying to get through all this COVID stuff right now, just quarantining. But other than that, man, got family, friends. So that's all that matters to me right now.
Yes, sir. Well, like I said, I highly appreciate you coming on the show, Dustin, and chopping it up with me, bro.
Of course, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Q.
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll definitely be in touch.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or to leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at QuinnMitchellII.com, as well as find us on Instagram for more useful content and resources.